So I'm listening to this guy tell me what's going to happen to me. And the reason why he's saying that is because he wants me to accept this manipulation they make me experience, right? And they tell me how I'm going to be castrated, I'm going to be chained and all that. Now, I understand why they do that. No, the reason why they're saying that to me today, right now, and why they're warning me and not just doing it, is because as they do these manipulations, they want me to think that I should be subscriptive to this because of what I'm going to experience in regard of the torture. So you hear this person talking about it. It's like, you're going to be chained. And he's trying to use a very sensible voice. It's all about the tonality. I just realized they think that that's really what's going to make me subscribe. But it makes it more obvious. And they kind of making my points a lot. But not even trying. What I mean is, it sounds so obvious that the reason why you tell me how I'm going to be chained and castrated and all that, and not doing it, and doing it instead of just doing it, is because they want me to identify based on the torture. Now, I have no doubt that they can create this kind of theater, and most likely will create this theater of torture. But the reason why he's saying that now is because he wants me to accept these pedophilia things. There's this thing that just happened not too long ago, and the reality is this. At this point, I'm validated that they do this pedophilia type of torture. There is a problem of pedophilia in these entities that is, what's the word? Contracting them. That's the word I'm trying out. As you can see, I'm losing a little bit of my language and my memory. Contracting these people, these entities are filled with pedophiles. So you heard this BuzzFeed article showing why, and there's a pattern of pedophilia. Now, besides that, you've heard that they do this pedophilia type of torture where they force you to perceive children in these disgusting pedophilia ways. And the way they've been trying to make me subscribe to this pedophilia type of torture is like, no, we're catching pedophiles. The reality is that they are pedophiles. They are the pedophiles for forcing people, men and women, to experience this pedophilia type of torture. To experience this pedophilia type of tormenting. It's something they do systematically. And when this person says that in whatever tonality they're using, they're going to chain you, they're going to cut you, they're going to castrate you and all that. He's saying that because he thinks that is a tactic that is going to make you subscribe to it, to these pedophilia things. That you're experiencing this naturally. That this makes sense, that it's you. You should identify with these things. And the reality is, he knows I'm not, but his job is to make me accept these things. So I understand that. He knows that I understand that. But because my brain is manipulated, I'm going to experience it this way. Meaning that my brain's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be castrated, so I must be identifying to these things. I'm going to be chained. I must be. Then, forget about the pedophilia things they do that you heard that validates you. That's how my brain goes at this point. And you hear this man try to make you subscribe to that. And one thing is like, oh, I like pedophilia. Like, try to make you, because let me just repeat that. They're saying that they're going to frame me. Once I'm framed, this guy is going to do this thing to me because I'm a pedophile. When in reality, these people are day in and day out rewiring my brain to think in these pedophilia ways. Right? Their job, their assignment is to break you down and make you subscribe to this pedophilia type of tormenting. There's this thing that happened, and you could hear this kid, just like childlike individual, try to agitate you because they maybe have a thoughts, but this thought is something they've tried to do before, and it was just like whatever, just fraudulent. But they wanted me to think about it again, and this childlike sounding person, and they use a lot of children, like actual children, people who look like children, and it makes sense because obviously those will be the top analysts. And so you understand these people, these bottom feeders who actually do this pedophilia type of torture, renowned for the pedophilia type of tormenting, are going to try to make you subscribe to these pedophilia things. And the reality is this is a human experimentation where they experiment on human beings with this sophisticated weaponry, and they break us down, subjects, with this nasty, tormenting, pedophilia-centric stuff. Is what they do. That's why I call them pedophiles. They might not be pedophiles in the sense that they just do things to kids, but they do the pedophilia type of torture, and it's something they've been doing to others. That's why I can come up with a testimonial right now from somebody else who says the same thing. Right? And they want you to be like, no, we knew. It's like, yes, you're going to do the pedophilia type of torture. That's what you've been doing. In my head, they try to go back and say, you see, remember when that person said this, he meant that. That means he knew that yeah, he knew that once I'm being manipulated in this way, you can make me experience these pedophilia things, which means you have to manipulate me to experience this, right? Of course, these people know that, but they want you to identify to this, right? These people who also torture children, and on top of that, to embarrass them even more, you understand that these people who are being empowered by these entities, those same entities have issues with pedophilia, meaning there's a lot of pedophiles in these agencies. A big problem from all type of agencies, right? And it's a big problem for actual pedos. With me, what they were trying to do is they try to create a false persona to the end that to the point where they try to make me subscribe to identify with somebody else. There's something they've actually did before today. They've tried to do this. I was watching and I remember taking even a screenshot of, because they were trying to make me think of, there was this guy. I remember when I started getting the V2K, it was disgusting. That's when I started staying at home. I tried to watch things that make me escape from what was happening to me, and I watched these traveling places, people that travel, like the people that travel and that's now that I say vlog, I remember they were talking about vlog yesterday, so that means that they were prepping for these kind of things, which is the typical shit, it's typical things they do, but it's no problem. I will have no problem talking about the things they do. So as they obviously knew, they're going to try to have this battle in my mind to bring back a moment when I was watching this traveler who goes to the different countries, and really there's a lot of things about women there. He went to the DR, Dominican Republic, right? And there's a lot of, obviously people know the DR have a lot of beautiful women, beautiful weather, and that's what people know about that place, right? It's not something I'm saying new, right? Unfortunately, I live in a place where there's a lot of people, Hispanic people, and they made me this test just because the people around me doing that, they're perps, and a lot of my ecosystem are just, and some of them are kids, which is more disgusting. But I remember I was watching this, right? Because I was watching people going to Colombia, people going to places where there's a lot of beautiful women and beautiful weather. And this guy was like, "Oh, I'm going to DR." Same type of content, showing the beach of DR, the beach, and showing the women there, and whatever. This is I guess somebody who was getting a lot of views. There was millions of views. But then shortly after, a few months later, there was this video that come out, kind of talking about this guy. And it was like a reaction video about this man. He was like, this man was actually stopped by the police in the DR for doing something pedophilia-centric. And as this man was coming up with videos about it, he showed like a snippet of video when he's somewhere in the DR, and he just looking at this kid standing, this little boy standing, and he's just looking at the kid. Now, the way they're making me experience that moment, and mind you, this is that made me say post V2K. So already kids, they do some nasty things. So he was looking at this kid, but with little boys, they don't do as much nastiest thing than little girls. But it was a little boy standing there, and he was looking at this little boy, and it was like it looked like he was looking at it like looking at this kid, like it was like like it looked disturbing, right? And so then they try to make me think, first of all, there's like, you watch his content because you know he was a pedophile, some BS thing like that. I don't know. There's some things that are just nonsensical, which is whatever. It's just nonsensical. This is somebody that have a bunch of viewers, and the reason why I was watching is because this guy is just like every other, like those traveler that filmed that those region are showing, beautiful weather, beautiful women, and maybe I was like, maybe I'll go there one day, but obviously I'd never, and I probably will never go there, at least not in the DR. But I was watching the same in Colombia, and so and this is a guy who watch a lot. Who has a lot of viewers. A lot of people watch the videos I'm watching had like over 1 million views. So not just a common traveler, person who feels like millions, right? And so now what they're doing is like they try to bring me back this moment, and remember that moment when he was looking at the boy? Remember? It's like, do you remember that feeling you felt? It's like, oh, and they're just bringing about to like this few things they do to me, and it's like, whatever. This is the things you do to me. You try to make me perceive me as this pedophile, or if that's true, is this pedophile. And then, they make me think of that again, and then try to start giving me thoughts of, oh, you should make a video about that. You should make a video about this moment, and they make me think of that moment of him looking at this boy, and then you should take a screenshot of what they try to and talk about what they're doing to you about this. The things they usually do to me, right? The thing I usually do, which is talk about how they're making me perceive these moments. I take a screenshot of something they do, make me experience in a nasty way. Here, this is what they're doing to me. I talk about it because what they want is for you to subscribe to these things, to identify as if you are experiencing this thing naturally. Of course, I know it's not me. I've been talking about the peripheral type of torture for a long time. It's going to be 3 years now. They do this thing systematically. They do the peripheral type of torture, and I will always talk about it. So now, you hear this person, this childlike person, who's like awkward, right? It's awkward that you imagine you well, actually they made me imagine this. They gave me this mental idea, right? They really control my thoughts in these ways. But what they made me imagine is, think about take a screenshot of that moment we're trying to change into something else, or try to change it into like you perceiving this thing in a peripheral way, and talk about it, right? And I was like, I don't have the energy, so I was like, it's just stupid. It's kind of stupid. I don't want to make a video about that. And right before that's like somebody's like, awkward, because they basically saying, oh, we just saw what just happened in your brain. It's like, not only you just saw what's happening in my brain, you actually manipulate my brain to think this way. But the awkward part is like, okay, you just basically say it's awkward. I was thinking about just taking a screenshot of the things that you thinking about it, and they're making me think that way. Taking a screenshot of what you guys manipulate me and make a video like I've made already like so many times. And then you hear this guy come, oh my gosh, we're gonna rape you, we're gonna do this. Like, stupid. These pathetic lowlifes. And they're like, oh, we catch them. No, you are the pedos. You are pedophiles. These people are pedophiles. Ladies and gentlemen, target individuals, these people are pedos. And try to get you to subscribe to this. Now, obviously, they know me. They know the actual person I am, and they understand that really well. Watch the videos about the DR. They understand what it would be, why I will watch videos about people traveling to the DR. Okay, you don't need to be a top analyst, but they try to gaslight you into accepting this reality they've put together, right? And they use these childlike individuals to make you subscribe to this nastiness. And so now in my brain, they make me think of this man looking at this kid and giving me this disgusting stimulation, trying to make me feel like I'm the one looking at this kid in this way, and make me feel like, oof. And they're like, oh, we know it's our video. I was like, really? Like, do you think that this is really why I want to watch what's happening, like videos about traveling to the DR? Understand they try to gaslight you into these things. And these people are pedos and low-life trash. Sad, pathetic low-life. They just because they sold their soul to pedophiles, they think I'm going to subscribe to these pedophile things. The reality, you are pedos. These people are pedophiles. And this is how they try to rewire somebody to subscribe to this reality they've put together. You understand, people who do these things, they escape reality to create false reality. Reality comes to them in a way they don't even understand. Well, in the meantime, I will make sure that they understand how embarrassing life is to be doing what they do. I'd rather get cut up in pieces and tortured every day of my life than actually work for pedophiles and do this peripheral type of torture, because it is obvious that why there's so many pedophiles in these agencies. Because they need to contract people who can be comfortably dumb themselves down this way and force people to experience peripheral ways of thinking and manipulate them. With this technology, you can rewire somebody to think in every way possible. Can you imagine to really erase reality to this point and try to make you subscribe to this thing and think because your tonality or your way you sound, you're going to intimidate somebody to subscribe to this nastiness? And this is somebody who's supposed to be this man. It's like, no, you're just a low-life pedophile, low-life wicked trash. As weak as those kids. Matter of fact, those kids, at least I respect these kids a little bit more than this adult man that tries to sound and menacing when they obviously do this manipulation of this caliber, of this retardation. The day, these horrible things happens to me, I gotta understand. The people who put me in this program are responsible for me experiencing this. These bottom feeders that do this thing, are assigned to do these things. That's what they do. They're the type of people who block out the reality of the DR. Why would somebody watch the videos about people going to the DR? I wonder what kind of analyst that maybe they're too much of an analyst. They need to look at something underneath of the surface. And they're here trying to make me think of this man talking about this pedophile. That was the way he was looking at a kid, and try to make me think that was like experiencing the same way or something. Like try to make me be this person that was looking at this kid this way. But they do this perfect type of torture. Now looking at kids for me is disgusting. It's nasty. And they're trying to make me have this like back and forth. Like I don't even have the energy. I don't want to bring this back and forth. But I want to talk about this moment, because this moment is an indication of how they try to gaslight you to make you subscribe to these things, to rewrite reality to the point where you will watch this video about the DR, and now you try to make me subscribe to this story of this man that has nothing to do with you. And then the moment where there was somebody doing a reaction video about what this person did, or what he was accused of, and there's a picture of him just on the side and looking at a kid or something like that, and then now giving me this disgusting stimulation about it, as if I'm the one looking at this kid, right? Like the way this man is looking at the kid, and then making me feel this weird stimulations and sensation that's disgusting. And then you hear these people, no, it's you, they wait for you, he does. He's going through the scripts. This trash, this is so sad. And then they try to go into something else, but this is what they do. These people are pedos. I'd rather get beat to death and torture every day in my life. You can't even say Roy Moore, a pedophile that picked up kids, and they're here trying to come up with a rewrite of reality. These people are low lives. To my target individual, understand what I just said, but this is the type of manipulation I'm experiencing. They're trying to break you down, and they're using intimidations. In my mind, they're like, you have to convince, you have to prove to them. Like, they made me start having this thought, because they manipulate my thoughts to think that I have to convince these people who are torturing, that are going to torture me, that this is falsified. Oh, please, it doesn't even take a genius. It really doesn't. I know my brain can be, but it doesn't take too much of a genius to understand. Okay, well, they do the pedophilia type of torture. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So that's why. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious that they manipulate your brain to think in these disturbing ways. On top of that, this is not even a memory before before V2K started kicking in. It's after. So you already you understand that's even at that point, whatever. I couldn't even look at things normally already, because of the V2K was already doing the nasty things. But now they're adding, something more, because at least before I was seeing how this man was looking at this kid. That's him looking at, what the fuck. Yeah. Now they make me imagine me being this man looking at this kid. And they're like, we catch you. Yeah. So my target individual, and right now they're like, because it's a boy, it's okay. Because if it was a little girl, it's so much worse. Because little girls, what they do to me, oh my gosh, what this low life do to me when I see a little girl, it's so disturbing. It's so disturbing. What these perps, this disturbing technology do to me when I look at at girls, it's even foul. It's so much disgusting. So this is what they do. And this is how they're going to try to get you to subscribe to it. Till my last breath, whatever torture and cruelty I'm going to go through, I'm going to remember, first of all, these people doing these cruel things to me, torture children in a sexual way. They do the perfect type of torture, and they torture children and women. So if I get castrated and cut in pieces, you understand that this is coming from people who do these horrible things. And when they meet to subscribe to it, this is why this theater is going to be happening. And so, just to add to this, as I'm listening to my recording, I'm talking about this man, obviously, that used to have these like traveling videos of when he went to like the DR, right? And the videos show like women and whatever, which perhaps what is why there's so much views and whatnot. But then the police arrest him because some alleged pedophilia things that he was doing some pedophilia. He was a pedophile, or at least that's what they say. And so there's when somebody was reacting about this guy being a pedophile, he showed a picture of him just looking at a kid, right? Now, when you know the fact that this person is a pedophile, the way he looks at the kid makes it different. Because if it was just a regular person just look at the kid, it would be nothing. But because you know that, you know why this man got arrested for, and he looks at the kid, now you're like, oh, this like, oh my gosh, you see how he's looking at it. It's like, basically, the picture makes, because of what he's arrested for, and now looking at him looking at the kid, it looks nasty. But if it was just a regular person, just like was not, you look at it, he's just okay, whatever. He's just looking at this kid, just whatever, And they're like, oh, what about you? How did you look when you were looking at a kid? What? I'm like, this is so delusional. And they try to make me imagine when I look at a kid, do I look like him? I was like, oh my goodness. And they make me think of some kid that I remember not raised, but I was there in his life very early on. Is even this picture of me like holding him and whatever. And I remember when he was playing with my ex at the time, I was looking at them. There's like my son. It's almost my little boy, right? And I remember them just, I remember first of all the grandmother coming to me. They were all perps, and she comes to me. She looks at me and she was like, like she was looking at me. It's kind of weird, right? I'm sure at the time the slender thing started. But now they try to make me imagine, but do you see how the way you look at it? It's like, for example, if right now you look at a kid right now, if you look at a kid right now, it looks normal. But if they find out that you are a pedophile and are arrested for doing something to a child, now when we see you looking at a kid, it's going to look different. With me, right now, they try to make me identify with these things because they're like, you looked at a kid. It's like, of course, like everybody else, you looked at a kid too. How do you how you look, like eyes wide open, like what? You see, you looked at a kid. You see, and this guy looked at a kid. You see. I'm like, what the? It's just nonsensical, and they really want you to identify. Of course, I looked at many kids. But of course, I know I'm not a pedophile. I know you want me to be a pedophile. Now I don't want to look at a kid because you make me perceive kids like a in the pedophilia ways. Because you do the pedophilia type of torture. Now I can't even look at the forehead of a child because they're going to do some pedophilia things. But if it was normal and there's a kid, okay, it would do nothing. But now, because of the way I perceive children, it's disgusting. I don't want to look at a child because it's going to be disturbing. But if I didn't have